Chelsea Jones.
And I'm Jared Floyd. Michelle is back on Monday. NBC 10, your local election headquarters, and we bring you full coverage on all things politics. And President Donald Trump will be heading to Monroe for the first time next week.
That's right, Jared. Maya Hudgens is live at the Monroe Civic Center to give us all the details. Maya, we hear the president will be hosting a rally there.
Jared and Chelsea, the last time a president was here in Monroe was over 36 years ago. But next week, Donald Trump will be right here at the Civic Center to rally for Republican candidate for governor, Eddie Rispone. The rally will be held Wednesday, November 6th at 7 p.m. President Trump held a rally ahead of the October 12th election in Lake Charles, campaigning for both Republican candidates for governor, Congressman Ralph Abraham and businessman Eddie Rispone. Now, Trump is endorsing Rispone in an effort to unseat Governor John Bel Edwards. In the past, you must arrive several hours before the rally starts for security purposes. At this time, those specifics are unknown. Traffic patterns will be different this next Wednesday as the airport and routes to the Civic Center will be closed, and there will be a heavy police present. The Civic Center can hold over 7,000 people, so if you want to get your ticket, you can go to myarclemis.com to find that there. For now, live in Monroe, Maya Hudgens, Fox 14 News.
Maya, thanks. After the announcement of the president's visit to Monroe, the campaign for Eddie, after the visit with the campaign for Eddie Rispone was confirmed, we reached out to the campaign of John Bel Edwards for their thoughts on the president's visit. Spokesman Eric Hull says it's no surprise that when it's time for politicking, the president is doing what's expected of him and supporting a member of his political party. But when it comes time for governing, Governor Edwards will continue the good working relationship he and President Trump have had, end quote. Governor Edwards has been to the White House 9 different times to visit with the president on important issues like Louisiana's infrastructure, criminal justice reform, and the opioid epidemic.
So how long has it been since a sitting president came to Monroe? 36 years. In January of 1983, President Ronald Reagan flew to Monroe to tour flooding. During his 2.5-hour tour, he filled sandbags with volunteers off of Highway 165, and he also went through flooded areas with then Louisiana Governor David Treen. President George H.W. Bush has been in Monroe, but that was after his presidency, and he was campaigning for his son, George W. Bush.
Of course, coverage will continue on that as we get closer to Wednesday. To other news now, a Stop the Gun Violence seminar for high school students was held today at the Monroe Civic Center. It's a collaboration between the police department's OK program and the Save Youth program.
NBC 10's Isabel Albritton was at the seminar and joins us now with more. Isabel?
That's right. Students from both Wasman and Carroll high schools filled the conference hall and spoke about reasons why they think kids their age carry guns. The common answer was the fear of needing protection. Officials mentioned of all the shootings that have happened in the past year here in Monroe, most of the people involved have been under the age of 30, meaning that this is an issue dealing with the younger generation.
Let's bring the hope back in, because we as leaders are still vulnerable and still deal with the same thoughts, but at the same time we are leveling up, we're rising above, and you can do the same thing.
Coming up tonight at 6, we'll hear more from the students themselves on how they can use education as a ticket for a way out. For now, live in the studio, Isabel Albritton, NBC 10, your local news leader.
Isabel, thanks. To South Arkansas, the Ashley County Sheriff's Office initiated a search warrant today that led to an arrest and over $40,000 worth of meth. Deputies arrested illegal alien Jose Chavez. Chavez was arrested for trafficking of a controlled substance. He's being held on a warrant from the Department of Homeland Security for illegal reentry, along with a bond of $200,000. The Sheriff's Office said they've arrested 10 people and have taken approximately 2.5 more ounces of meth this week. He said the previous arrests are unrelated to Chavez's arrest.
3 El Dorado men are facing charges for breaking and entering into unlocked vehicles. The Camden Police Department arrested 22-year-old Jacario Terry and Judas Bruins and 18-year-old Elijah Roberson. The 3 men are suspected to have broken into vehicles in Camden, Smackover, and El Dorado. They're being held at the Ouachita County Jail. Each is facing charges of breaking and entering, theft of a firearm, and theft of property. Well, back here at home, Monroe police are investigating a crash that happened earlier today. Around 3 p.m., Monroe police were called to Louisville Avenue and North 7th after a vehicle hit a pole. The driver, you see, told police that he was cut off by another driver. He claims he hit the pole as he was trying to avoid crashing. No injuries were reported, and the wreck is still being investigated.
Back to Arkansas now, where Attorney General Leslie Rutledge stopped in El Dorado today for her annual roundtable discussion. This is the 5th year for the Attorney General to travel to all 75 counties throughout the natural state. Her goal is to meet with community leaders to discuss issues specific to each county. Today, leaders discussed the prescription drug and opioid epidemic, medical marijuana implementation, robocalls, and vaping. Now, Attorney General Rutledge says it's time to take action.
Helps us develop programs. It helps us look at the laws, what we need to change. That's why I've made vaping such a priority of mine, because as I was doing these roundtables earlier in the year, I started hearing from school administrators that this was a real problem.
The Attorney General said she is open to any suggestions from the public, and you can also submit your ideas to the Attorney General's office.
8th grade math students in Louisiana have been improving over the last decade during the National Assessment of Educational Progress test.
That's right. They've improved so much that they've climbed to #1 in the country. NBC 10's CJ Macklin has more information. Hey, CJ.
Yeah, Chelsea and Jared, Louisiana ranks at the top this year in math proficiency scores in National Assessment of Educational Progress. The state also ranks among the top 10 states for improvement over the last decade in all 4 NAEP assessments. The average scale score in 8th grade math is a +5. I spoke with Donna Patton at a Ouachita Junior High School, and she says this is a huge accomplishment for her school and the district.
Unlike a state assessment or a local assessment, this is a national assessment. And so this compares our students to the nation. And so to be first in growth in the nation, again, validates what we're doing right here on the local level.
And coming up at 6, I'll also speak with another 8th grade teacher about this huge progress in Louisiana. In the studio, CJ Macklin, NBC 10, your local news leader.
CJ, thanks. Middle school students at Northfleet Elementary learned a little history about their own town today. The students witnessed the drilling of another oil well that will be placed near downtown. They also took samples of the mud from 2,000 feet in the ground. Just across the street from the new oil well is the old historical well that was built almost 100 years ago. Mayor said it was special having the kids learn about how their town came to existence.
It's unique that 100 years later that the first oil well around Norfolk was drilled. We're drilling again in the same formation, and this well pump, and the well that's almost 100 years old is still pumping.
NBC 10's Gabrielle Pfeiffer spoke with students about how they were impacted. You'll hear from them coming up tonight at 6.
And still to come, St. Francis is taking patient care to heart literally. We'll tell you about a new non-invasive procedure to help prevent strokes in at-risk patients.
And the coldest night of the season so far this season headed our way. And we'll get colder before the winter's done, but a freeze warning in place tonight, along with some cool afternoons ahead. A full look at the forecast as NBC 10 News at 5 continues.
Eye on Ouachita. The opinions and views expressed are those of the Ouachita citizen and do not necessarily reflect those of Nexstar Broadcasting and Mission Broadcasting, this station, its sponsors, or employees.
I'm Sam Hanna, publisher of the Ouachita Citizen. Monroe officials grappling with the 14 homicides that have plagued the city thus far this year say the local judicial system seems unable to prevent the worst violent offenders from returning to the streets to wreak havoc. That was the thrust of the message delivered Monday evening at a community meeting at Monroe's Public Safety Center. Mayor Jamie Mayo and Monroe Police hosted the gathering, which was attended by local clergy and other elected officials. Monroe Police Lieutenant Trish Passman said many of the violent offenders police encounter have been convicted of 5 or 6 felonies. But for whatever reason, they get released from jail to return to the streets to sell drugs, commit robberies, and often they are armed. Mayo placed the blame clearly at the feet of local judges and the district attorney. In other news, early voting for the November 16th general election begins Saturday, November the 2nd, and will conclude Saturday, November the 9th. In Ouachita Parish, voters will cast ballots in runoff elections for governor, secretary of state, 1 state senate race, 1 state house race, 1 police jury race, and clerk of court. There's those stories and much more in this week's edition of the Ouachita Citizen. Subscribe today by calling 396-0602 or visit the Citizen online at ouachitacitizen.com.
Next ET, only we're behind the scenes with Heidi Klum before her Halloween costume reveal.
I will have a very hard time walking.
Then never get ghosted again. Next ET.
You need more than a ticket to get this close. Football Friday night at 10:15 on NBC 10. Brought to you by Banner Ford, Randall's Fine Meats, and American Direct Auto Winsburg.
It's a Halloween superstore. The costumes will flatter.
St. Louis finally has a female serial killer.
Hello, glass ceiling. You shattered.
Then perfect harmony gets in the groove.
I'm a Chippendales dancer. I got moves.
It's Halloween Thursday on NBC. Halloween Thursday, the good place comes prepared.
This demon exploder. Demon exploder?
And the terrifying truth about who's the daddy.
No, this isn't Will's baby.
Well, I just figured since you share towels.
New comedy tonight on NBC.
It is a great honor and with a lot of pride that I get the opportunity to introduce our speaker, Governor Bobby Jindal.
We have a major budget crisis in Louisiana.
$2 billion shortfall.
He's done a phenomenal job.
Drastic cuts are feared.
Students are worried about their TOPS funding.
I am so proud of what you've done.
Higher ed and healthcare are facing deep cuts.
That massive budget deficit.
Please help me in welcoming Governor Bobby Jindal.
Thank you all very much.
News sponsored by Don Killen's Country Village. NBC 10 News at 5 continues.
St. Francis Medical Center welcomes a new device for people who struggle with heart problems or have had a stroke.
And the best part about it, it requires no open heart surgery and is completely safe to use. NBC 10's Hunter Elise is back from St. Francis with a breakdown of that new device. Hunter?
Chelsea, Jared, the Watchman device is brand new for Northeast Louisiana, and St. Francis is excited about offering the new procedure. It gives patients in our area a chance to be exposed to modern technology without driving to Shreveport or Baton Rouge. According to the American Heart Association, more than 2.7 million people are known to have atrial fibrillation, a condition where an irregular heartbeat can lead to blood clots or strokes. To treat AFib, doctors usually prescribe blood thinners. However, for some patients, the thinners may not be enough.
Now we have an option, which is this new procedure, fairly new procedure in the United States, new here, obviously, in town, which is called Watchman device.
Getting the Watchman device implanted eliminates the need for open heart surgery.
We put a small catheter in the groin, patient's groin, and when the catheter goes all the way to the heart, goes to the left side, deploys the device, which looks like a small umbrella, and opens in the appendage.
The Watchman device stops the blood from entering the heart and reduces the patient's risk of the blood getting to the brain and causing a stroke. Recovery time is also reduced, and patients can return home within a week.
And the procedure itself takes less than 2 hours to do it from beginning to end. And once it's deployed, the patients go home, and in 45 days we recheck the device, and if everything is okay, they can stop taking the blood thinners, and they will be protected against strokes.
Once the procedure happens, the device stays in the patient's heart forever. St. Francis also says 99% of people who have the Watchman implanted are able to stop using blood thinners within a year or less. In the control room, Hunter Elise, NBC 10, your local news leader.
Good stuff for the people in our area.
Technology's so cool, man.
It's the best thing we've ever had, to be honest.
Best than sliced bread.
Or cheese.
Yeah, or grilled cheese sandwich and tomato soup.
That's my favorite.
Oh.
Honestly, my favorite.
Boy, is that...
Starbucks. Starbucks has the best grilled cheese right now. So.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
Try it.
Grilled cheese tomato soup sounds delicious tonight because it is going to get cold out there. Full look at the forecast is coming up next.
The Animal House is your local pet store. Cypress Street, West Monroe.
Good evening, everyone. Reporting from here on the ground. Portage Glacier has receded more than 3 miles in the last century. I was embedded for 3 days and 2 nights.
No, to get to part of something, you have to get inside it.
NBC Nightly News with Lester Holt.
Experience the thrill of college football at the Murphy USA Classic in El Dorado. It's a day of fun as the Ouachita Tigers take on the Mule Riders of SAU. Come early for some great tailgating and entertainment. College football returns to El Dorado, Arkansas. Saturday, November 2nd, kickoff at 2 p.m. Tickets available at select Murphy USA stations. The Murphy USA Classic, November 2nd in El Dorado.
When John Bell Edwards let thousands of criminals out of jail early, he put every life in danger. 25% have already committed more crimes. Crimes against children, violent assaults, 5 murders.
Jordan's killer was released after only serving 18 months, or 21% of his sentence.
I'll never forget the sound of that zipper opening up for us to be able to see Jordan inside.
Give his victims a voice. Vote no on John Bell Edwards. Paid and authorized by Make Louisiana Great Again.
Hi, I'm Dr. Kevin Finley. We know that there are a lot of people who just do not want to go to the dentist. Well, if that's you, we have a place where you can come and get what you do want. All the dentistry that you need without the fear and anxiety. Our doctors and staff will take away any embarrassment you might have about your mouth. IV sedation can help you get the dentistry that you want in just a few visits. In a safe, comfortable place, you can take a nap and wake up to a new smile.
Advantage Health Plan, we're always on the go. That's why we get our news from the Fox 14 NBC 10 mobile news app. Download the app today to get faster news updates and breaking news alerts. Best of all, it's free. Brought to you by Advantage Health Plan.
News sponsored by Communa Health Services. New name, same quality care. Live Storm Tracker Doppler radar, sponsored by bankruptcy attorney E. Orem Young. Now, your local weather with Chief Meteorologist Jared Floyd.
Look at the live storm tracker Doppler radar brought to you by E. Orem Young. And across the region, most spots have seen very clear skies and very quiet conditions, paving the way to what should be a very chilly night. Trick-or-treaters expect temperatures in the 40s. Most kids don't care what temperature it's going to be. They're out there for the free candy. So parents, make sure that you put some extra layers either on top or underneath those costumes as we head through the late night hours tonight. Aside from a few high clouds across the southern parishes, we've cleared out pretty nicely as we've went through the afternoon. Most of the rain really wrapped up by about 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning in most locations. Clouds were quick to clear out after that, probably 7, 8 in the morning for most spots. And we've enjoyed sunshine, although it really hasn't made a big difference in terms of temperatures through the course of the day. High pressure off to our west rules the forecast for now. Northwesterly winds in the short term. And we'll also continue to see maybe a weak frontal boundary pass through the area early Saturday morning. Doesn't make a big difference in terms of temperatures. In fact, it kind of just resets us back to where we've been since that front moved through late last night. So it kind of just keeps us into the upper 50s for highs as we go through the early part of the weekend. So as we go beyond that, we really kind of take a turn toward a warming trend. As high pressure moves east, we'll get the winds back out of the southeast and the east as we head towards, say, Monday and Tuesday, and that will obviously lead to a warm-up in the short term. 47 right now in Little Rock, Fort Smith, Tulsa, 52 in Monroe, 49 in Jackson, 43 in Tupelo. You compare that to where some of these areas were 24 hours ago, and it's a pretty drastic difference in some spots. Jackson's 28 degrees cooler, Monroe 15 degrees cooler, New Orleans is 19 degrees cooler, but Tuscaloosa 32 degrees cooler compared to where we were 24 hours ago. 52 currently in Monroe, 50 in El Dorado and Ruston. So again, with the sun setting and our trick-or-treaters getting out and about probably in the next hour and a half to 2 hours, expect temperatures well into the 40s. And as you wrap up trick-or-treating festivities tonight, expect temperatures in the low 40s. So again, bundle up accordingly. Lows tonight near the freezing mark. Now, of course, those are overnight temperatures, so that'll be closer to daybreak tomorrow. Clear, cold with winds generally calm. High temperatures tomorrow in the mid to upper 50s. More sunshine, staying cool with a light easterly breeze, but all told, another pleasant day outside and pretty fall-like across the region. Some patchy frost possible both Saturday and Sunday mornings as temperatures stay above freezing. But obviously with the light freeze tonight, frost will also be possible then too, so plan accordingly. Mid to upper 60s for highs as we warm up into the first and middle of next week, maybe even near 70 by next Wednesday. Rain chances are not great. In fact, that's not necessarily a bad thing compared to what we've dealt with through much of the month of October. So some dry days, getting this rain kind of soaked in, getting rid of all the droughts, which is all good news, but some scattered showers could return by this time next week.
And we can use the heat tonight.
Yeah. Log on the fire if you can.
All right. Well, you heard it here. Sports is next, and it's Thursday night football. We'll have a live report from OCS ahead of their big game against St. Fred's. That's just 2 minutes away.
Tonight, the Congresswoman resigning amid scandal after intimate photos of her were leaked speaks out about what she calls a double standard. Also, what a new study says about those restaurant calorie postings. Do they influence our food choices? More on Nightly News.
Sports, sponsored by Ken's Coffee Service.
My car wreck was the other guy's fault. I hurt my neck and my back. I called Moore-Smart. He got me $475,000.
If you get hurt in a car wreck in Monroe, do what your family and friends have done for many years. Call me now.
It's the darkest time of the year. Headlight savings time. The best time to take care of the pairs in your life by replacing your basic bulbs with a fresh pair of whiter, brighter Sylvania bulbs. Because if a simple switch was all it took to protect your precious cargo, wouldn't you?
My husband, Matt, is great. But when it comes to finances, well, he's not the best. For example, he financed his truck at a pretty high interest rate. But thank goodness for Ouachita Valley. For a limited time, they are refinancing auto loans from other lenders, and if they can't lower your interest rate, they'll give you a $25 Visa gift card just for trying. They're gonna save us a lot of money and make loving him a little easier. Ouachita Valley, making good things happen.
Thanks to Governor Edwards expanding Medicaid, I didn't have to choose between getting cancer treatment or going bankrupt. Now I'm working full-time again and can afford private insurance. But his opponent's plan would take health care coverage away from hundreds of thousands of working people who need help just like I did. You may not have to vote like your life depends on it, but know that someone's does.
I broke my sternum and ribs in a car wreck. I called Morris Bart immediately, and he got me $200,000.
If you get hurt in a car wreck in Monroe, do what your family and friends have done for many years. Call me now.
NBC 10 News at 5 continues.
TS facing St. Fred's tonight. Big Thursday night matchup.
That's right. This is a game everybody has been looking forward to after the huge thriller they had last year that ended in a Warriors win. Chris Demersion fills us in about the game. Chris, what's going on?
Hey, that's right, Chelsea and Jared. Both teams have not forgotten about what's happened last year, that thrilling 24-21 victory over the Eagles. The first time, really, in a very, very long time. Well, these two teams back at it once again here at Eagle Field, or the newly crowned Stephen Fitzhugh Field. The first battle since last year's thriller. It was actually their first win over their rivals since 2003. Stephen Fitzhugh's team enters tonight 7-1, 5-0 in district play. St. Fred's is actually playing for back-to-back wins over OCS for the first time since winning 3 straight from 1993 to 95. It's short rest, I should say, for both teams. Both coaches were asked how they really feel about a Thursday kickoff.
It's different. It allows our kids to have some of their friends at other schools come out and watch them play. It also gives them a chance on Friday night and gives coaches a chance to go out and watch some other opponents and other teams play. So, we like Thursday night games. This is obviously falls on Halloween, just one of those years where it's a weird deal.
I'll tell you, I think it'll be a great crowd and great energy again. We're rivals, and so again, with the schools being close to each other, a lot of these guys know each other and things, and so it's a game that everybody gets up for.
This sets up a big Friday night. Again, more than, 25 games going at it tomorrow night. Have you completely covered with every single one of them. Football Friday night at 10:15 right here on KTVE, and Football Friday Night Extra at 11 o'clock over on Fox 14. Chelsea, Jared, if you're watching, please bring some hand warmers, some hot cocoa, a blanket. I need something. It is freezing out here. It's only going to get colder. We'll have more from Stephen Fitzhugh and Andy Robinson at 6 o'clock. But in the meantime, Chelsea and Jared, back to you in the studio.
He must have missed the forecast.
It's 52 degrees outside.
He doesn't have a jacket.
It's
Come
52.
on, Chris.
It's not 22. It's 52.
But it's a little breezy.
God, dramatic much?
So dramatic.
Come on, man. Final look at the 7-day forecast after the break.
News sponsored by Marie's Medical.
Delta veterans bring their annual expo and celebration to Chenault Aviation and Military Museum, Saturday, November 9th. Enjoy live music, free food, kids activities, free services on site for veterans, and much more. Don't miss it.
One morning, I slipped and fell from the stairs. That's when I broke my leg. And I had to sleep down here for a good while, and I didn't like it. So quick as I could, I didn't tell them, but I got on that thing and I went upstairs to my regular bed. And I use that stair lift all the time. Put the seat belt on, as you say. If I'm going up, I mash the up button. If I'm coming down, I mash the down button. It's so easy to use.
Fast Serve Medical, West Monroe, Bossier.
The Dish voice remote just got even more powerful. Why'd we put so much technology in there?
You don't think I've watched a lot of football? You want to put a little wager on it? Bet.
So you can settle that bet without ever taking your eyes off the game.
How many D1 football teams are there?
What you do with that power?
Oh, it's gotta hurt.
Well, that is totally up to you.
Don't look so sad, man. Come on, we're having fun.
New Dish voice remote with the Google Assistant. Dish, tuned into you.
I think most who know me will tell you that I don't run negative campaigns. I run campaigns based on facts. Here's what you need to know. Jay Morris has authored or supported 17 bills that increase taxes for businesses and consumers. My record on keeping taxes lower for businesses is out there for anyone to see. But you can't rely on a foreclosure lawyer running for a Senate seat to be the source for the truth. I think you'll agree, we don't need any more pro-tax lawyers in the Senate.
If you're searching for a friendly and affordable place to service your RV, look no further than Clay's All-in-One RV Service Center. Storm damage, roof damage, insurance work. We do it all with a fast turnaround. If you rub the roof of your RV and it comes back looking like this, then you need a UV protective renewal coating, which will vitalize your roof for years to come. We have one of the largest parts departments in Northeast Louisiana, and our staff is qualified to service almost any RV. Clay's RV. We make happy campers.
Communa Health Services. New name, same quality care.
Monday forecast shows afternoon highs in the mid to upper 50s as we head through the next couple of days. Morning lows will be in the mid 30s. So obviously we're not looking for much of a warm up in terms of overnight lows, but we won't be at or below the freezing mark besides tomorrow morning in most spots for Saturday and Sunday. The only exceptions may be across southeastern Arkansas both Saturday and Sunday morning. So we'll be on the lookout for that. No rain chances to really speak of in mid to upper 60s for highs as we head into the first of next week.
All right, well, make sure you grab some chili or whatever you like.
Cocoa.
Go to the game. Have some fun on this Thursday night.
Yeah, carry the blanket with you. It's going to be a little cold.
Oh, and it's Halloween. How did I forget it's Halloween?
Trick-or-treaters, man.
Yeah.
Y'all bundle up. Enjoy.
Please. All right, and that's going to be it for us right now at 5. NBC covers America. And your world news next on Nightly News and more of myarchimedes.com and Fox 14, so make sure you tune in.